wonder what kind of song could scare a radio station into dead silence? I mean, what kind of lyrics got a record yanked off the airwaves like it was a live grenade? Well, buckle up, because these next 10 songs were just too hot for the radio back in the 60s and 70s. Some sparked protests, others caused moral panic, and a few, they just ticked off the wrong people. Let's count down the top 10 songs that were banned from the radio in the 60s and 70s. And trust me, some of these might surprise you. Number 10, Browneyed Girl by Van Morrison.
Brown-eyed girl, you mine.
Let's start light. Brown-Eyed Girl, that sweet, catchy tune with one of the most recognizable guitar riffs of the decade. Sounds innocent, right? Well, not exactly. Radio censors caught wind of the lyric, "Making love in the green grass." And that was enough to pull the song from some stations' playlists. Now come on, by today's standards, that's downright tame. But back then, that line practically screamed scandal. Some stations demanded an edited version where that line was dubbed over with a more wholesome memory. Laughin' and a runnin'. Still a classic, but censored for your protection. Go figure. Do you think this line really needed to be changed, or were the censors just overreacting? Number 9, Only the Good Die Young by Billy Joel.
Only the good die young. Only the good die young.
Ah, Billy Joel, the piano man himself. Who would have thought he'd ruffle so many feathers with a playful little rock song? Only the Good Die Young was banned on dozens of stations for being anti-Catholic. The lyrics? They urged a Catholic girl to loosen up and enjoy life, implying maybe she was missing out. Naturally, religious groups weren't thrilled. But here's the kicker. The more they protested, the more people wanted to hear the song. Billy later said that the bans helped sales. So the real question is, did banning the song just make it cooler? You tell me. Number 8, God Save the Queen by the Sex Pistols. Okay, we're shifting gears here. Let's talk about full-blown rebellion. God Save the Queen wasn't just banned, it was practically blacklisted across the UK and the US release during Queen Elizabeth II's Silver Jubilee. The song called the monarchy a fascist regime. Yikes. British radio stations refused to play it, retailers wouldn't stock it, and it was mysteriously missing from the top of the charts despite selling like crazy. Coincidence? The Sex Pistols didn't care. That was the whole point. Anger, anarchy, and a sneer at polite society. Love them or hate them, they made sure you heard them, even if you couldn't hear them on the radio. Number 7, The End by The Doors.
This is the end, my only friend.
Ever heard a song that felt like a fever dream? That's The End. Jim Morrison's haunting 11-minute epic didn't just push boundaries, it danced over them, lit a match, and walked away. Why was it banned? 2 words, Oedipal nightmare. The line, "Father, yes, son, I want to kill you."
Father, yes, son, I want to kill you.
Mother, I want to... Yeah, you get the picture. That line.
Father, I want to...
That line caused radio panic. Some stations refused to play anything by The Doors afterward. Was it poetry, shock value, or just Morrison being Morrison? Either way, The End became the soundtrack for rebellion and discomfort, and that's exactly how the band liked it. Number 6, Lola by the Kinks. This one's catchy, fun, and, you guessed it, banned. Lola tells the story of a young man's flirtation with someone he meets at a club, only to realize she might be, surprise, a man. Back then, gender identity wasn't something you joked about on Top 40 radio. Even the line, "I'm glad I'm a man and so is Lola," was too much for some stations. But the real reason it got pulled in the UK at first? It mentioned Coca-Cola, and the BBC didn't allow brand names in songs. The Kinks had to re-record it as Cherry Cola. Seriously, hey, did you know that fun fact before? Because we're not even halfway through. And if you're enjoying this forbidden trip through music history, hit that like button and subscribe. There's a lot more where this came from. Number 5, Give Ireland Back to the Irish by Paul McCartney and Wings. Yep, even a Beatle made the banned list. After the tragic events of Bloody Sunday in Northern Ireland, Paul released this politically charged protest song. Unsurprisingly, the BBC banned it outright. Stations in the US followed suit, avoiding the song for fear of stirring up political tension. McCartney defended it as a message of peace, but not everyone was buying it. Still, it hit #1 in Ireland and Spain, and sparked conversations around censorship, war, and the role of musicians in politics. Kinda makes you wonder, how far should artists go when it comes to protest? Should the airwaves silence them, or let them stir the pot? Number 4. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds by the Beatles. Let's not pretend this one isn't obvious. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, LSD, the initials are right there. Lennon swore up and down it was inspired by his kid's drawing. But no one really bought it. Not radio stations, not the public, and certainly not the suits in charge. Psychedelic lyrics, dreamy melodies. It had all the ingredients of a bad influence, according to critics. Some stations dropped it altogether. But here's the twist. There's never been any hard proof it was about drugs. Which begs the question, were the censors banning the song or just their own paranoia? Number 3. Let's Spend the Night Together by the Rolling Stones. Before Mick Jagger was strutting across Super Bowl stages, he was getting bleeped on American radio. Let's Spend the Night Together was banned or edited because of, you guessed it, implied sex. Ed Sullivan even told the band they couldn't say that lyric on live TV. Jagger tried to change it to Let's Spend Some Time Together. But anyone watching could tell he was annoyed. He rolled his eyes as he sang it. Ironically, the bands made the song more famous. It didn't stop the Stones one bit. It only added to their bad boy image. Number 2, Imagine by John Lennon.
Imagine all the people.
Wait, what? One of the most iconic peace anthems of all time was banned? Yup. Certain stations, and even some countries, yanked Imagine off playlists because of the line, "Imagine there's no heaven."
Imagine there's no heaven.
Religious groups called it blasphemous. Others said it promoted communism. Lennon called it just a song about imagining peace. But here's the thing, it wasn't just a song, it was a challenge, a what if. And sometimes that's all it takes to make people uncomfortable. Number 1, Louie Louie by the Kingsmen. And now, the crown jewel of radio bands, Louie Louie. The FBI literally investigated this song. That's right, the FBI. Why? Because parents were convinced the lyrics were obscene. The problem? You couldn't understand a word the lead singer was saying. It was slurred, mumbled, practically gibberish. But that didn't stop the rumors. The song got pulled from stations, schools banned it, and politicians joined in the panic. After a 31-month investigation, the FBI concluded the lyrics were unintelligible. Think about that. Nearly 3 years of federal attention because someone mumbled into a mic. Now that is rock and roll. So there you have it. 10 songs that got the radio's red stamp of disapproval back in the day. Some were political, some were sexual, some were just weird. But they all have one thing in common. They pushed boundaries. And that's what great music often does. It forces people to think, feel, and sometimes squirm a little. Which of these bands do you think was justified, and which were just plain ridiculous? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you loved this walk through music's rebellious side, give us a like and hit that subscribe button. We've got a lot more forbidden grooves coming your way. Until next time, keep the volume up, and never be afraid to question the playlist.